might think victory in whiteout survival comes down to luck or just having the biggest army, but it's not. It's a science. Underneath all that chaos on the battlefield, there's a precise mathematical code, a set of rules that governs every single fight. Well, today, we are declassifying that research. We're handing you the keys to the entire system. So here's our mission briefing for today. We're going to start with the absolute fundamentals, what I call the 3 pillars of combat. Then we'll dig into the counter system that controls how they all interact. After that, we dive deep into the math behind winning itself. And finally, we'll give you the actionable intel, the single best all-purpose troop ratio, and then the specific blueprints you need to adapt to any threat you face. Let's get into it.
All right, so every army you can build, I don't care how big it is made from just 3 core troop types. Really understanding their unique roles, their stats, and of course, how they're boosted by the heroes leading them, that's the absolute foundation of command.
First up, we've got the infantry. Think of them as your armored vanguard. They have the highest health and defense in the game, and their whole job is to stand on that front line and just soak up damage. Now compare that to the lancers, your jack of all trades in the midline. They give up some of that raw durability for way more speed, which makes them perfect for quick strikes and dealing out huge bursts of damage when it counts. Now, the Lancer's real secret weapon is their ambusher skill. This lets them completely bypass the enemy's front line and hit those squishy, vulnerable units in the back. That's a huge difference from the marksmen, who are your backline executioners. Marksmen are pure damage dealers, pure DPS. They've got the highest attack and lethality, making them total glass cannons designed to take out big, high-priority targets fast.
And this right here, this is the fundamental choice at the heart of all strategy. It's the classic unstoppable force meets the immovable object. On one hand, you've got marksmen, who can dish out incredible damage but can't take a hit. On the other, you have infantry, who can take a beating all day but don't hit very hard. Mastering this balance is truly the first step to dominating the battlefield.
Okay, so we've got our 3 main troop types down. But war isn't just about individual units fighting on their own. It's all about the interactions. So let's move up to that next layer and see how this all connects to the core combat engine of the game.
You know, it's not just about who has the better stats. There's a hidden system at play here, a counter system that gives certain units a massive advantage over others. So how does it actually work in a fight?
Well, it all boils down to something you probably learned on the playground: rock, paper, scissors. It's that simple and that brutal. Infantry are purpose-built to crush lancers. Lancers, with their speed, are designed to hunt down and destroy marksmen. And to complete the circle, those high-damage marksmen are the perfect tool for shredding through the thick armor of infantry. This cycle is the single most important rule you need to know.
And we're not talking about a small advantage here. When you get a full counter on an enemy, you get a staggering 21% boost in effective power. Now, where does that come from? Well, you deal 10% more damage, which is great. But just as important, you take 10% less damage from the unit you're countering. Exploiting this 21% swing, well, that's the difference between a close fight and an absolute blowout.
All right, now we get to the real heart of it. We're moving past basic tactics and getting into the core physics of combat. It's time to pull back the curtain and decrypt the top-secret damage formula that decides the outcome of every single battle. Okay, this right here, this is the engine room of combat in whiteout survival. Now, I know it looks a little complicated, but you don't need to memorize it. What you do need to focus on are the 2 profound strategic secrets that are hidden right inside its structure. Let's break those down. As the original research says, victory favors the mathematically prepared. And you know what? That's not just some clever line. It is the fundamental truth of this world. Let's prove it by digging into that first secret. So, secret number 1 is hidden in that first part of the formula, the square root of n. What that means, in simple terms, is that your army's power doesn't grow in a straight line as you add more troops. You get diminishing returns. See this curve on the graph? Doubling your number of troops doesn't double your power. It only bumps it up by about 41%. The lesson here is crystal clear. Superior stats from your heroes and their gear will always beat sheer numbers. It's quality over quantity, period.
And the second secret is all about that attack times lethality part. There's a mathematical principle that basically proves that to get the biggest result when you multiply 2 numbers, those numbers need to be as close to each other as possible. The takeaway for you is a super simple golden rule for upgrading. To get the absolute most damage, always boost whichever of your 2 offensive stats, attack or lethalities, is the lower one. That's how you get the most bang for your buck on every single upgrade.
Okay, so we've laid out the core theory. We understand the math. Now, let's finally translate that into action. We can use this foundation to build the single most effective all-purpose army you can have for any situation where you just don't know what you're walking into.
After running countless simulations and applying some heavy-duty game theory, specifically something called a Nash equilibrium, which finds a perfectly stable strategy, the research identified a single resilient formation that holds up under pressure. And that ratio is a front line of 50 to 55% infantry, backed up by 15 to 20% lancers and 25 to 30% marksmen. This setup is the perfect balance. You've got a massive wall of infantry to soak up damage, enough marksmen in the back to provide constant, high-powered DPS, and that critical group of lancers to counter the enemy's own damage dealers.
And you don't have to take my word for it, just look at this graph. That solid blue line at the top, that's our balanced army. It shows consistently high performance no matter what. Now look at those dotted lines. Those are armies with only one troop type. See those crazy peaks and disastrous valleys? In a real, unpredictable fight, that balanced resilience is so much more valuable than being a one-trick pony.
But look, a true master strategist knows that the all-purpose build is just your starting point. Real dominance comes from adapting your formation to the specific job you have to do. So for our last section, let's look at how to tweak our blueprint for two very common situations.
Okay, first up, the siege. You're staring down a heavily fortified city. Your one and only goal is to smash through those walls and defenses as quickly as possible. Your standard ratio just isn't going to cut it.
So here's the blueprint. You're going to dial back your infantry to 45%. Yes, you're giving up some survivability, but you're doing it for a reason. You need more firepower. And that firepower is coming from boosting your marksmen all the way up to 40%. Their sustained damage is absolutely vital for grinding down those enemy walls. We'll keep the Lancers right where they are to provide that crucial burst damage when you need it.
Now, let's flip the script completely. You're not attacking anymore, you are defending. You're holed up in a garrison, and your only objective is to hold that line for as long as humanly possible.
For a defensive stand like this, your priority shifts entirely to survival. You're going to push your infantry way up, to 60 or even 70% of your entire force. They are your wall, and you need that wall to be as thick as possible. As a result, your marksmen, whose damage output isn't as critical here, drop way down. This formation is built for one thing and one thing only, to outlast whatever the enemy throws at you.
So there you have it. We've deconstructed the pillars of combat, we've revealed the counter system, and we've decrypted the very formula for victory. These strategies aren't secrets anymore. They're tools. They're yours now. You have been given the mathematical code. The only question left is, how will you rewrite the rules of war?